Welcome back to Fitness Manifesto. I am one of your hosts, Kim, and joining me is
Justin. Welcome to this new show that we've started, which focuses on life, awesomeness, friendship, and fitness as a whole. I am going to start with a big fat Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We're right at Christmas, Justin.
But our audience doesn't know that.
I know. Happy New Year, y'all.
Oh, Kim, I love our banter. It's so fantastic.
I do too. Justin thinks it's freezing. He's got a very fuzzy, warm sweater on in his house right now.
But I'm a very temperate person.
He just complains.
There's some complaining in there, but there's also just, I know there's this tight range of like 70 and above. Like I'll do everything in that. I love that. 100 degrees, bring it on. I love it. Humidity, love it.
I can't wait whenever it's supposed to drop down soon in the 50s during the day. Did you see that?
It's insane.
I want to hear, and in the 30s at nighttime when you do your daily dip in your pool.
I'm not going to lie. It's going to be.
Oh, I cannot wait. I want to hear about it.
Last year in February, I think it was February, when we had that really cold spell again, that really, really cold spell. We had power this year. So I decided to do it. And I jumped in and I got out and I told Kelly that I think my testicles are now in my throat. So yes.
Did you immediately regret your decision?
It was such a, I don't know how to describe it. It was just so cold that it like hurt. Like it was like uncomfortable. Because even outside, it was probably like 38, 39. The pool was, I think, 38, 39 too, somewhere in that same range. There is something about hitting water that cold, even when you're outside already. I stayed in there and my goal is to stay for a minute, and I did it and I got out and I was just, so red, like it was like uncomfortable, massive goosebumps. And I thought I lost my testicles. I'm not going to lie. It was that cold. They just went right up. Yeah.
When we were putting our pool in, and it was crazy cold. And TJ, our son, he's okay with getting in cold weather. And we're like, okay, jump in. I'll tell you, I'm pretty sure he jumped in, barely touched the water, and he was out. It was so cold.
40 and below in water temperature. Because California, you surf, the water never, a hot day, the water hits 60 degrees. Most of the time it's in the 50s, maybe upper 40s. So it's it's pretty cold already. That's cold. There's something about 40 degree water and below that it's so cold. Like there's just no other reaction. I don't know what else to say. It hits you so hard.
Like the temperature. It's freezing.
Yeah. Well,
30 degrees.
Ooh, we're going to talk math now. Woohoo. Physics. Whoa.
Because it's just really cold.
It is. And the part that I think is interesting is, though, I remember afterwards, I don't think I'm exaggerating, I was wired all day. Like it was so cold. It really did wake me up, like to a point that, if I had caffeine, my heart may have burst. I was that awake.
Well, it like shocks your body.
It totally does. One of my buddies, Jeff, he does the same thing, but he has like a cold, like a drop. I think it's called a drop pool or whatever. And it's literally just something you jump into and you get out. Like there's no swimming. It's like a little hole in the ground, but it's like temperature controlled. And anyways, he does it every day. And
wait, it's like literally in the ground?
Yeah, no, it's a temperature. So basically he built it. So he's 6'2". So I don't know, maybe 7 feet deep and 2 or 3 feet wide. It's like a circle in circumference. And it's just, you literally just jump in and jump out. Like that's what it's for. He gave up caffeine, everything, because he started doing it. It's crazy.
Interesting.
I love how I baffled you on this.
That's like a thing. Well, I remember being in track years and years ago, and I had shin splints, and you do the buckets of the ice cold water. The coach was going to have you do that. So just curious, if I jump in ice cold water like that, it gives me asthma.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like bad, like where you need the inhaler, or do you just like your lungs get really tight?
No, I'll have to take my inhaler.
Wow. So this is not a challenge you'd be willing to do with me then, I can see.
Oh, no, I would. I'd be okay. I've lived in cold, snowy weather, so I got to.
Yeah, but I also don't want to impair your health.
Oh,
that is one thing that we never want to do on the show. Is it?
No,
Yeah.
Never.
Okay.
And if it hold a risk like that, of course I wouldn't do it. I would tell you to pound salt. But no, absolutely.
All right, cool. Well, I think maybe because we're coming up on break here in a second, in a couple days, which is crazy to me. Again, the year's just flown by.
Oh, it has so fast.
Weirdly fast. Like I swear this is the fastest year ever, and might be fun to, after Christmas, when I get back from Austin, we do a couple videos recording each of us getting into some cold water.
You know what? That sounds terrible, but okay.
It's going to be miserable. However, the challenge is to stay in there at least a minute.
Oh, of course.
Okay. And then because we're both so competitive, I know that we're both going to extend that.
No, you'll get a minute out of me and I'm done.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, fair enough. I'll see what I can do depending
I'll
how cold it
say
is.
that and then I'll be like swimming around. No, I'm just joking.
Well, so one thing that if you watch the show on Disney Plus, Limitless with Chris Hemsworth, okay, so this show has blown me away. It's basically it's 6 episodes, maybe 7, I can't remember, and he goes through these different ways to extend your life, and he goes through these different experiments of doing things. So, like the first one is facing your fears, and he goes out in this. Basically, he's in Sydney, Australia, and he has to walk on this like crane out over the city. Okay. And he's afraid of heights. The thing is, the next episode blew me away. He goes to Norway. It's cold therapy, basically. And so he's with this guy that I've never heard of before. I have to look up his name. He swam around England in 150 days. He ran a marathon with a tree trunk on his back.
Like on purpose.
Yeah, he pulled a car. He literally, they show videos of this. He pulled a marathon. So, I mean, this guy's wild. I've never heard of him. I don't know how I've never heard of him, but he's like this crazy athlete. Anyways, and he swears by cold therapy. So they go up there and his objective is to swim in this Bering Sea from, I think it's 150 yards from shore. And the water temperature is like, I think 33, if I remember. It's so cold.
Wow.
Yeah. And no wetsuit, just a bathing suit. So I won't tell you what happens or where it goes, but there's a lot of study right now into the benefits of cold therapy. I think one of the themes we should try in this new year is to see if we notice any benefit from cold therapy. What do you think? Okay.
Have you ever done cryotherapy? Cryotherapy, is that right? Where they put you in the tank?
Kim, I was going to actually suggest, I want to do that. I've never done it a day in my life. I want to do it so bad.
When I went to do the spa, there was a lady in there and she has cancer, and she would go in there and it was more of like her pain therapy. And she goes, this is the best thing ever. And you're not in there. You're only in there for very, very limited time because it's so cold.
Yeah, you'll die.
And she said it is the best thing ever.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So I have a buddy that swears by it because he lives right across the street from where he lives. They have one, but so it's in California. So sometime last year, this poor woman went in and she was basically, they did single people at a time. So like they'd lock the door, one person would come in, they'd go to cryotherapy, they'd come out. Well, she was in there cleaning it and the door shut on her. And she literally froze to death in there. And they found her like 4 or 5 days later because people were like, hey, I have appointments. No one's returning my call. Anyways, she died in one literally. So I've been kind of very scared to do it since I heard that story. Yeah.
Well, no, when you go to do it, at the place that there is somebody who is attending you, you get in there and they stand outside monitoring you the whole time.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. The person that monitors you was the person that died.
Right. How did the door shut?
I don't know. I don't know the whole logistics of it, but it's crazy.
That sounds terrible. That poor lady.
Absolutely. But I would love to do this now. How long did you ever try it or no?
I didn't try it. No, I went to go just float.
Okay. And so for those that have
we had talked about doing the float spa. And that was my first time ever. That was awesome.
So for those that don't know, floating is basically, I think they call it, what is it? Deprivation, sensory deprivation. It is probably, to me, one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in my life. It is the first time I was able to truly relax.
It was awesome. And with the tanks, there's so much salt in there that you float. So you don't sink. And I put the little thing underneath my neck. And I went to sleep.
Just to kind of describe it to you for those who've never done it before, basically what it is it's this giant, looks kind of like an egg that opens up and they put Epsom salt in there, but it's so thick that you can't sink. Like Kim was saying, you literally float. And the idea is that you shut the lid and there's a light in there if you want it, but you turn off everything and there's literally nothing. You can't hear anything. You can't see anything. And you're totally in this space. And I'll tell you, the first 5 minutes for me, I don't know about you, Kim, but the first 5 minutes for me were like, okay, this is weird. And then I started thinking am I standing up? Am I sitting? Like I had these weird thoughts. Did you go through that?
I didn't have that because I knew I was laying down, but just laying there, I was like, this is really awesome. And I didn't go into the one that shut like the clam. Mine was like, you literally step into it and it's almost like a tomb. And then you shut the door, like you can stand up in it. And it's like, I'm trying to explain what it even looks like. You step in through the door that's on the side of it.
Okay.
And it's it's like a tomb. And then you lay down. I mean, you can stand straight up in it with the door shut.
Okay. There's nothing creepy at all by you calling it a tomb, but yes.
I mean, well, it kind of really is. I mean, really, you're just not dead when you're laying in it.
Or are you? Whoa.
Yeah. There you go. Hey, this is not a Halloween episode.
That's true. This is a new year. We got to keep it going here.
Yes.
So if you guys have never tried any of these things, I highly recommend it.
I will say, if you are very much in your head or think too much, your head always goes to bad places, it may not be the thing for you. So do your research. I mean, really do your research whenever it comes to it, because not everybody can go into something that is quiet. It is dead quiet. The temperature in the room where your pod is the same temperature. So you can't tell whether you're in the water or below the water, because it's all the same temperature. And it is pure silence. So really do your research to make sure that this is the type of thing that you would be interested in or even comfortable with as far as relaxing goes. So what is relaxing for us may not be relaxing for you.
Absolutely. I think that's a really important part, because I'll tell you right now, I was very apprehensive about doing it at first, because I'm always thinking, like, even when I go to bed at night, my head is spinning about, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. Like, I'm going to do this next. And I've started doing these things where I say, like, release, and you're okay. Like, everything. And it's made a huge difference in terms of calming my mind down, because I'm always thinking about crap. It's not good or bad. I'm just, most of the time it's about, like, hey, I want to do this next. Being in that place, though, it literally zened me out. Like, I was so clear-headed. I came out just zened, like, beyond. It was incredible.
Yeah. Yep. If you have a hard time shutting off your head, shutting off your brain, definitely do the research. And you have to shower going in before you get in, and you have to shower coming out. And they give you the soap and the shampoo and the conditioner. And I will say, do not shave your legs the day that you are going in there, because the amount of salt that is in that pod, it is going to burn. It does.
For those that can't see my face, that blew my mind. I never would have thought that, but that makes total sense.
Absolutely. Like, if you razor burned yourself or any type of open wound or anything, I mean, you're basically just pouring salt in it.
Jesus. I never thought of that. Like, you're blowing my mind here. Wow. Oh, and one thing to help you guys, speaking of open wounds, to feed off that for a second, when you're done with this, basically the whole system flushes itself, so no one gets the same water. So just FYI, I know, like, if you're a germaphobe like me and you're like, wait, did that person? No, you get different water, different soap or salt. So you're good. Yeah,
they do. And actually, whenever it kicks on when your time is up, and the one that I went to anyway, the music's playing all soft and slow. The light is on in the room, and then it shuts off. The music, the lights, everything shuts off. There is a light in the pod that you could leave on if you want to, but you don't have to. And then whenever your time is up, the music it gives you about a 5-minute warning. The music will start playing softly and the light in the room will come back on. But if you're in there after, when your time is up and that machine kicks on, it gets loud in that pod.
Because how long was yours? Was yours 30 or an hour?
An hour.
Because they warned me the first time, because I've only done it once. They were really funny about it. They're like, are you sure you want to do an hour? I'm like, go big or go home. Come on, half hour. What does that even mean?
Right.
I will tell you that after the hour, I mean, you are like transported somewhere. You are so like just out of it that you need that loud music and everything to get you back to, your head. You got to get back into the real world. Yeah. It's a weird awakening thing.
I was very, very relaxed coming out of it. And at first, I'm going to tell you the truth, I was like, just gross, going into that where other people have laid, I'm like you, but I'm going, ew, do they wipe the sides down? Do they just yuck, right? Yeah, but no, it was, and the smell of Epsom salt, has a distinct smell to it when it's that much.
Yes. And it's not like they have an oil on it or something like that. So it's just whatever Epsom salts are, it's whatever kind of salt it is, magnesium sulfate or whatever it is.
Yep.
It definitely has a smell. So Kim, I think that it's awesome. This is the first episode of the year. I love it. I'm so excited. I'm so glad to be back here with you. I'm so glad for our audience. And I got to tell you, this year is going to be full of a lot of new stuff, a lot of new guests. Yep. We're going to kick it off right after this with a killer guest and even more fun this year.
Yep, we got lots of changes. We are trying to make it better for our audience, right, Justin? We are working on things where we could do better for our audience. So we've got definitely new things coming. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great 2023.
It's going to be an amazing 2023. I could not agree more.
It only gets better.
Okay. And I will tell you, just for anyone that is struggling in any way, like you're having a bad day, whatever, need a good pick me up. She's your girl.
Oh, well, I appreciate that, Justin. I think our energy together, I think we are extremely, extremely positive. And I mean, why wouldn't you be?
I could not agree more.
You get to choose what controls you. You get to choose what defines you. If you wake up and you're like, well, today's going to suck, it's going to suck. I mean, really, if something happens to you right away in the morning and you're like, oh, this is how my day is going to go. No, you're choosing to allow your day to go that way. Don't do that. Choose. It's always going to be a good day. And if something bad does happen, be like, well, it's life. Move on. Put a smile on your face. You're awake for a reason.
Suck it up, Buttercup. I used to have an employee of mine. He said it all the time, no matter what. Someone was in a bad mood. He'd like, suck it up, Buttercup. I'm like, all right, that's the old naval officer in you. And that's not a bad strategy at all. So with that, Kim, thank you to our audience. Thank you. What?
You got to stop. We'd always say, tough titty, says the kitty, but the milk's still good. Life is always good. I had to throw that one at you because we do toughen up, Buttercup, too. But
no, hang on. I got to hear that one more time. What did you say?
Tough titty, says the kitty, but the milk is still good. Which means regardless what comes your way, it's still good. You're still alive.
It's how you perspect it. It's how you perceive it. It's how are you taking this in and then using that, right? It's not,
Right, absolutely. It's how you face that and then move forward from that. If you choose to be sour, your day is going to turn off that way as well. Everybody's, reaction? No, everybody's action has a reaction.
Has an equal or opposite reaction. That's
the
physics.
Event plus, there you go. My son is saying it. Say it again.
E plus R equals L. The event plus the reaction equals the outcome. How you react to the event will have the outcome. Either the good outcome or the bad outcome.
There you go. His coach taught him that.
Nice.
For football.
We couldn't hear it all, but maybe we can build it up. Say it one more time. Say it into the mic, dude. All right. So this is adaptation at its best.
This is my oldest child. Okay. Say it again.
The E plus R equals O. We were taught that the event plus the reaction equals the outcome. If an event would happen that on the field, someone was talking bad about your mom, how you react to it would have the outcome. If you go and fight the guy, that would not have the outcome that would be the best for you. But if you were walked away and then on the next play prove to the guy that you're good, then you would have a good outcome. We were taught that to never let a bad event affect us bad, because we want the good outcome.
Absolutely. And one thing, so first of all, TJ, thank you. And secondly, but if what he's saying about your mom is true, how do you react?
You just got to hit him really hard. I feel like that has a good outcome too, right?
Absolutely. Great seeing you guys. Thank you.
Okay, give me my headphones and get out of my frame.
That's some tough mother love right there.
This is my outcome. See? Exactly. And when you have children, if you don't have children now, teach that to them. Because regardless, it's how they approach the day is how their day will be.
You guys I feel like we need to start calling her Buddha Kim, BK.
Buddha, except for when your child comes in at 4:40 or 5:45 in the morning and is screaming about how he doesn't feel good and he's not going to make it.
I was not as zen as I could be then. I was very calm, but I was also like, "What's wrong?" Just keeps crying. I'm like, "Come on, dude, you got to just something. Use your words, something."
Yes, exactly. Spit it out, child. It's early. Come on.
Kim told me something about this cat in the milk. Do your cat milk thing. Come on, what's that?
That's great. Spit it out.
Anyway. To everyone else, thank you so much. It was a great episode. TJ, we appreciate your impromptu. And Kim, as always, thank you.
Thank you, Justin. It's always a good episode. And to our audience, thank you. We've got so much more to come, and it only gets better from here.
And that concludes today's episode of the Fitness
Manifesto. I know you guys enjoyed it.
And Kim, I want to say thank you to you and to our audience for making this podcast what it is.
Yes, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys.
And stay tuned for the next episode.